With the news about Helldivers getting a movie greenlit by Sony, we have yet to have any news about the project or any confirmation about anything really. So going into this completely blind, I personally want to list out my top 5 wants and expectations for the movie and how I wish the game to be represented in theaters. Starting off with number 1, I do not want to stay relegated to just the bugs. While it's easy as hell to stick to just one faction and the bugs would be the easiest to do on the screen probably, I really don't want a modern retelling of Starship Troopers. I feel the bugs should be used to show off how badass Helldivers are and introduce our main cast. And after a nice set pieces where we separate Helldivers from mobile infantry, where we ante up by then getting major orders from the Ministry of Defense issued to have our squad go to the bot front, after a new major offensive by some bot general, where it'll probably be some very generic storyline where, you know, the squad has to go kill some high ranking bot officer. I really don't need to see the memes, because I promise you, if this is just bugs or just bots, I will see Twitter calling the movie rip off Starship Troopers or rip off Terminator Salvation. Second, this should be slapstick like Starship Troopers, not Marvel comedy. I would love for this movie to be treated not only like Starship Troopers as like a ad for from the Ministry of Truth to recruit citizens from Super Earth to become Helldivers, but I would love a sprinkle of random lore-friendly ads to add depth to the universe just like Starship Troopers. I really don't want Marvel comedy. While Helldivers 2 is funny and fun and all that, you know, I'm not going to deny that the game can't be funny. I don't want the comedy to ruin the integrity of the film. It would be interesting to see a slapstick, unserious universe, but also capture a gritty massacre of, you know, of being a Helldiver. It's not sunshine and rainbows being a Helldiver, reality is, but not at the detriment of presenting Super Earth in a bad light, which leads perfectly into my third want, which is please do not present Super Earth as bad guys or make it war's bad film, you know? While I think war is bad, blah blah blah, I understand the Super Earth is fascist and all that, and in reality we all know that it's probably not the best government to live under. This is a universe with literal brainwashed people into thinking their civilization is the greatest in the galaxy. It would make no sense for a Helldiver, the elite soldiers of this galactic federation. This isn't like, it wouldn't make sense for them to not believe in their country. This isn't Star Wars Battlefront 2. The odds that elite soldiers are betraying their country is so low and it's so boring. I don't even want to see it. I don't try it to be a film that you aren't. Helldivers 2 is popular because it follows an amazing rule for world building, and that's keeping it simple. So please let the movie follow the same rule and keep it simple. Soldiers killing man-eating bugs and killer robots is pretty entertaining, and now we have hyped up grays. All right, like let's just keep it simple. That's what Helldivers bread and butter is. While also on that, while it is the bread and butter of Helldivers and we should just keep it simple, I also don't want this movie as a fourth thing to be a slave to the lore. For a perfect example, while this game has very light lore, a lot of the mechanics you see in the game are actually canonical to the universe. A perfect example is every time you die and respawn, you're actually a completely new Helldiver. You aren't a character that has a name and you're just nameless. You're just a nameless Soldier B who every time you die is replaced with a new Soldier B. The death is ever present in Helldivers 2, and I think we all know that. Sadly, however, movies don't really have that same kind of real estate to do something where we are constantly dying and rotating through characters and cast members. There are other ways to translate to the viewer how Helldivers are really just numbers rather than heroes, as well as don't feel like not having access to see soldiers around on the war zone, because in game we never see them at all fighting bots or bugs, and it's really just Helldivers coming in after the total collapse of a war front. And while that is interesting, and most likely the reason why in game that happens is because one, it's probably really hard to program see soldiers fighting bugs or bots off in the distance, and for obvious hardware limitations and balancing issues, reality is the Helldivers would be on a defending front or an attacking front, and there would still be Seaf soldiers and even citizens that be it still on the battlefield ready to defend their home. It would be nice to ignore game balance and see Seaf and Helldivers working in tandem. I just really do hope this game, while respecting the source media, doesn't feel it needs to be a slave to it in order to honor it. And that leads me to 5. If we do want this movie to lead to some kind of franchise of movies, I think we shouldn't blow our load about having squids show up like instantaneously in the first movie. Let's stick to the early events of the Second Galactic War, give us a nice introduction to newcomers, and is semi-nostalgic for vetted players, with a special ending at the end that hints at a colony disappearance of an empty city and then a half-destroyed welcome sign and a squid ship coming into frame. There shouldn't be anything where we have too much going on, and that so much going on is just going to ruin the flow of the film. Keep it simple. While I do want more than one faction, make sure that you're using one faction to hype up the Helldivers and then ante up the second faction. That's really all that should be. I don't want this to be a crazy lore heavy movie. I want it to be a simple romp where I just go see shit get blown up. Just like how I feel when I go play Helldivers, like the game. I play that game because I want to go see shit blow up. That's what I want from the film. I really think this will be the spiritual successor, no matter what, to Starship Troopers that I've been fiending for a while now, and I'm excited for. And it probably won't be losing that kind of aura for a while. So I do think if this movie doesn't get stuck in filmmaking hell, we can get an amazing movie. So it really just depends on if they're able to finalize a script and actually get this, not stuck in production. I do think if this movie does get stuck, the major reason probably will be because it has too many cooks in the kitchen, keeping it simple. Give flowers to Helldivers 1 and 2, and we can have a banger on our hand. But tell me what y'all think down below. What do you want from the movie? What are your expectations? Do you think we will need a PSN to watch the movie? Besides all that, thank you to all the channel members and Patreon supporters who are single-handedly bankrolling the channel, allowing me to do what I do. Thank you for your time. Be safe, have fun, and I'll catch you next time.